Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Hello, everybody. I am Keisha, one half of the host of the Regal Mindset podcast show. And today is April 3rd. We have entered into the second quarter of 2026. Jay, go ahead and introduce yourself. We'll get it started.
I am Dr. Joy, the coach. I am the other half of the Regal Mindset Show, and we have something for you today.
Absolutely, we do. We're talking about soft life, smart money. In a
You
nutshell, what
think
does
they
that kind
ready
of
for
mean for
this?
you? Yeah. What does that mean for you? Soft life. Can you hear me?
Soft life to me is being able to live at, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Are we good?
Yep.
Okay. Soft life is about being at ease, being able just to feel calm about whether every time you pull out your debit card, do you have to keep balance before you go in the store? Like, you just want to be at ease. Think soft life means.
All right. So I'm guessing you're stuck, frozen. So
Did I
I'll
lose?
let you work out. Yeah. You there? Okay. So, so soft life for me is it's definitely like what you described, right? Being able to navigate life and do the things that you want to do versus only the ability to do the things that you can do, right? And we spend a,
Right.
a good portion of our adult life really even outside of the queer spaces, we spend a good portion of our adult life trying to get to that place where we can live life or live a softer life, I'll say. And how we choose to do that really, I guess, just depends on the person and skill set and the mindset, really, and how they choose to kind of achieve those things. In the queer space, what would you say is maybe the number one thing that we will do, certainly in the community, to make sure that we live a soft life? All right. So while she works that out, so I'll answer first. In my opinion, I feel like the queer community, and I'm not saying that the straights don't do it either, right? We're just trying to distinguish the difference between how queer people show up in the world and how they operate generally, right? A lot of the people that I know and have associations with are do
Mm,
very well in business, whether they're entrepreneurs or they've
mm,
decided to climb the corporate ladder or any other facet in terms of how they generate and create money or wealth for themselves. And I think, or I feel like it's a priority because in my opinion, we don't often feel seen, so we have to create those spaces where we do, and we generally will excel and do really well in those places. And because of that is the financial gain, which allows us to be able to live a much softer life. So I'm not sure how much you caught of that, Jay, but I know your internet, the hotel's internet is a little janky. Um, what's your opinion about how the queer
right.
men and women operate in those spaces and how they create the soft life?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you barely. Sounds like you're under the covers.
What about now?
Yep.
Okay. No, I 100% agree with you on everything you said about the soft life. I think a lot of people fail to realize what soft life is, and we attribute it to self care
Mm, good point.
or being taken care of. And I think that really doesn't define what soft life is, because you can create a soft life by just simply living within your means or under your
Hmm.
means.
Good point.
And that can be could be a soft life because it frees up the money and the opportunities to go do them. If you want to go take that trip where it may take me and my family 3 months to plan, because you've managed your money, managed your time well, you can like, hey, let's just go on a trip now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to me, that's soft life.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it is a much more rewarding life to not necessarily like live outside of your means, but like you say, sometimes say, right sizing your life or being able to have that space or that cushion to be able to be flexible in that way. If you do want to take a spontaneous trip, long weekend, or whatever that is, or whatever that looks like for you and your family, then you're able to do so, right? So how do we get there, right? I
Mhm.
particularly think it,
Right.
especially in the queer spaces, it's a lot of entrepreneurs, in which case they have more control over how much they can make versus depending on a salary where you're, calculating how much you can allot yourself for different things. What's your thoughts?
I feel when it comes down to entrepreneurs, I don't think they really take in the value of entrepreneurship versus actual working. Some people need to do both of them at the same time because as an entrepreneur, there's no time off. This is a 24/7 thing when you're in that building stage. So you think it's freedom. I don't have a boss, but by the time you take 20 hours that you don't put into that day, divided it by how much you earn that day, you're making $1 versus if you were on salary 8 hours and you're like, okay, well, that's $40 an hour. So you have to be realistic when it comes down to that. It's like, am I ready to be an entrepreneur and putting it all on the line? Or do I need to balance? Do I need to work? Joy have to work and balance a business until that business can compensate the monies that I earn on a job. And that's realistic. I think, because people are not realizing about it, they want the freedom and not having the boss. But it's almost because you got $300 in your pocket, you've been out here all day. Like it is midnight and you're still running out the cars. That doesn't make sense when you can go and work at Amazon for 8 hours and make $400 a day versus out there on the street 15 plus hours and made 300. It doesn't make sense. So I think people need to find that balance and make it make sense. You know, I had the same issue with my wife when she was working. I understand you have the freedom of me earning my own money, but when I sat down and gave her the numbers, you're making X amount of many dollars an hour. I have to put gas in your car every week. You don't get reimbursed for that. Then you're eating on average $50 to $70 a day. We're in the negative before your check comes. So it doesn't make sense for you to go to work and you need to stay home and figure something out. And so
Yeah.
that to me, that's a real conversation we really need to have.
Oh, absolutely. And we can't be scared to ask those kind of or to have those kind of discussions, right? Because we don't want to certainly be
Mm-hmm.
at a place where we're, not allowing or our partner or significant other it feels as though they can't contribute or they can't do the things that they desire to do, right? We want them to be able to do that, but like you said, it has to make sense. And one place I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that, or one way that we can do that is by weighing out all the options, right? So that was wise to be able to look at the numbers,
Mm-hmm.
right, and what all of those things entail. What things will we be benefiting from, and what things will be um, maybe not as wise, or maybe even right now. Or what if it's halftime? Or what if there is some flexibility in terms of you can work from home? And I mean, there's
Hmm.
other things that we can bring up in that conversation, but the conversation has to be had. And then the other
Right.
side, the
It
balance, I
has to be
agree.
had.
Oh yeah, the balance, I agree. There's some people that do need to have the security of an employee check, as well as they're, chasing their own dreams to be entrepreneurs and so on and so forth. Because an entrepreneur in so many ways does not necessarily have a cap, right? You can't, it's depending on how hard you
Hmm.
want to work, right? And what it is your gifts and talents will bring you in terms of
Hmm.
what that compensation will look like, versus this salary is all I'm going to get. They're going to give me some coins, maybe some extra coins at the end of the year if they choose, they fit, but it's really up to them. It's out of my control. I agreed
Right.
or negotiated on
Right.
whatever that salary is, and that's what it is until we go back to the table and negotiate again. So it's to each its own, and everybody's household needs to be able to have those kinds of conversations. It's a value.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when you're able to negotiate a salary, that's one thing. But as an entrepreneur, you don't get the chance because you're scaling. You're trying to find that balance with your customer. So in the beginning, like if you're doing consulting, you're there constantly for your customer. But as you continue to grow your customer base, then you're saying, okay, my hours are cut off here, and I have to stick by that.
Yeah.
Versus now, if they call a text, I'm typically going to respond. But once you grow to a certain level, you're like, you know what? No, these are the hours. I have to start pivoting you to what makes sense. If I'm
Hmm.
only going to do 3 to 6, those are the hours that's on my calendar. And so, but as you're growing your business, that's why you need to have that supplement income, whether it's from an employer or what have you. Have that supplement income, because most of us do not have we didn't have the Donald Trump effect where our granddaddy gave us $1 million and said, go figure it out.
For
Most
real,
of
for
us
real.
are not ready for business funding. We don't
Yeah.
have angel investors. We don't have these things. So you're funding everything out of your pocket.
Out of pocket. Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And that's a
You know what?
lot.
When I Oh, for sure it is. Listen, I remember looking over this particular subject, right, that we're talking about. And initially I was thinking about, well, I wonder if we should go down the rabbit hole of what I've been seeing sometimes on my timeline on TikTok and Instagram, is how studs have become used to staying at home, right? Being the home caregiver, child caregiver,
Mhm.
whatever. And the femmes, or dominant femmes, out in the workforce, making the bread, making the most of them financial decisions, and perhaps even um, paying or offering some portion of their income to the studs so that they, can have some freedom and do the things that they desire to do as well. Uh, who can you swallow that? Me personally, I still need to make my own money.
I
I don't
can't.
know that it would make sense for me to stay at home. I,
I
I would feel uncomfortable.
Right. And it just doesn't seem right. Maybe, and I don't want to say it has to do with gender roles or nothing like that. I think it's just the type of people we are.
Hmm.
We're naturally in that provider role, and it just doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
Now, if I'm retired and I have an income coming in and I'm just home, that's something different.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, I got my income coming in. I get $8,000 a month from the military.
Yeah.
I can stay home with the kid baby.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
and I mean, but then it also means, what if that wife is a doctor, a
Uh-huh.
lawyer that has that income, that want, then it might be fair. But I still feel that that stud needs to have a better side hustle. And if I can give
Mm.
an example, that's how I feel about Niecy Nash and Jessica Betts. Bates.
Okay.
I feel, Niecy, she ain't matching Niecy money,
Yeah.
but she does. But I do feel that she does what she does to bring in some form of income. But
For
she ain't
sure.
got Niecy money.
Yeah. 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 And the good thing about what it appears, again from the outside looking in, because I don't know this couple is as either, is that Nisi doesn't make Jessica feel as though she's any less. She's still in
That
this partnership. She's an equal say,
right.
right? And we try to do that as best we
Hmm.
can. But then, this transparent moment, I will say for me, this at some point, there's like, hey, I'm no, this is the end of the line. I am the buck. I am the stop.
Right.
And I don't feel as though this is right. That's not fair. This isn't whatever, my
Yeah.
input is. And then my partner or my wife can say, whatever she needs to say. But yeah, at least at the very least have a conversation and not allow the
Have
other
the
person
conversation.
to feel less than. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, and we can also see that in Brett and Judy. Judy makes that money. And every time you turn around, and whether they publicize it or not, we don't know that. But when Judy does something for Brett, she's getting her a Bentley. She's getting her this, she's getting her that. I have not, me personally, seen Brett do the same thing. Like I have not seen her go buy Judy a Rolls Royce,
Right. Absolutely. Same with Bobby and Whitney.
but I've seen Judy
Yeah.
break out Rolls Royces and yeah, exactly. But then even if we take the eyes off of it being same sex, it's the same way when Mary J met her husband. He wasn't
Yeah.
bringing in that money, and then at the end, he took her for alimony,
Yeah.
and that's
Mariah
a
and Nick
very
Cannon.
common thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Todd, yeah, Todd, Todd, and Candy. Todd was going after alimony. That's why he wanted them kids.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
But
Which is
they
crazy to
share
me.
50-50. You rather be home with the kids to make sure she take care of you. You ain't have the right
Yeah.
to
I
be
can't
there.
swallow. Yeah, I can't swallow that lemonade.
I know, right? Like
Can't do
I'm
it.
gagging it up as we think about it. So I mean, it goes either way, but in our community, it is a stigma that we do have a lens of the stud should do better. She should be the breadwinner, or at least appear to be the breadwinner.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And even if it's a collective effort, right? It's nothing
Mm,
wrong with both partners, whether it's a male on male relationship, female on female, trans and trans, whatever, right? Both
mm-hmm.
partners should be able to complement the other and still go out there and get their bag, right?
Right,
Collectively bring that bag home, and y'all can both be fine. Both do well.
right, right.
Yeah,
And
and there's
then
people that
if
do
we look at it from a different perspective, yeah. And it's like it also brings up a part of our topic about all of these side hustles. It's like if you selling weed is not it.
that. That ain't the move no more.
That ain't the move no more. That's not it. You hustling CDs. You being a barber. If you ain't got that clientele, that ain't it no more. And
Yeah,
I mean, and that's a fallback for a lot of people. Not saying you can't cut hair, but the industry is, especially if you're in Atlanta, the industry is tight if you don't have your certain clientele. And it's a
yeah,
way that you can
yeah,
stand out,
yeah.
but that if that's your fallback, that's my hustle. Well, you're only getting two clients a day. That's what, $60? And you still got to pay booth rent? It's not adding up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there are some, right, who do scale that in such a way where they either, venture into salon suites or they create products,
Mm-hmm.
they create wigs, they create courses, classes, events.
Like
There's
Sway.
a
Yep.
number, yeah, there's a number of ways to be, but those require a person to be really skilled and focused, lasered in on that skill, on that trade, on that gift, and really bring it to the place where you're making the kind of money. If you do have one client a day, that may be $6,000-7,000 client. You know what I mean? So you can get there, but it's not an
Oh,
overnight
absolutely.
process.
It's
And
not
some
because you need to find where you fit in.
absolutely,
And
yeah,
to be honest with you, I told this young man that he wasn't the best hair cutter. He wasn't. But as he built his skills, I told him, I said, what would make you stand out is one, change your outfit. Don't come in like you just got off the basketball court.
mm,
Dress up, look nice. That's going to bring a particular clientele. Then go over there to those office buildings and get you a little suite because those attorneys, those people in they need to come down and get their hair cut. That's a
Sure.
70, 80, $100 deal. And then learn how to cut white people hair. Learn how to cut Asian people hair because they have a specific, especially Asians, they got a specific texture hair that you have to
Hmm.
do a little bit extra too. I say, so you earn those skills. Get you a white label, beard oil, hair products, have it set up in your salon and have your one chair. I would prefer the exclusivity
Hmm.
of that barber. It's clean, he look good, he smell good, or her look good, smell good. I'm in here by myself. It ain't all that cussing. Everybody ain't playing football, all that. I would pay $125 a pop to sit in there.
Yeah. And a facial,
And a
other
facial.
services. Yeah.
This one man charged $250 to include the wash.
Yeah.
But they drive to him. When you find your niche, your end, you work that. Stop trying to do it like everybody else.
Yeah.
Go do funeral homes. I'll go around to every funeral home. That's $100 cut. I gotta come and cut that dead person hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's a
I'm
good
on
point.
call.
Yeah.
What about a mobile? You pull up, got the van outfitted. I'm parked right out inside your house. Come on out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they
Or
don't look
shopping mall.
past, right? They don't look past at the airport.
Yeah. That's a really good place too. Yeah. Hotels. Because people oftentimes when you visit another
They
place, you don't know where the barber's at, where
but
the
they
good
got
one's at.
one right downstairs. You go get it cut, get it lined. But if it was a high-end hotel, they got a salon down there
True. That is true. They're gonna
because
cater
they
to
cater
women.
to their customer. And
Yeah.
then a lot of these nice hotels that have weddings and stuff like that, you're there. You're the go-to person. Because when I come in and I want an all service thing, who do you have on your roster for haircuts for this for that? And I don't have to get on Facebook. Anybody who cut hair and this, I ain't got to do all that because the hotel and it's given to them at a premium.
Yeah.
Oh, I do three guys, $300,
Yeah. And get to know all the concierge in the area.
and we're just giving y'all free business, just
Okay.
FYI,
Consultations on deck right now.
all free. And I think when people really sit in that hot side hustle or that
Yeah.
talent and
Yeah.
find where it hit, Sway found where it hit with Salon Suite. So all
For
she doing
sure.
is teaching you how to do the thing. But
Yeah.
then I was helping a young lady out in a consultation. I said, "Why don't you do Salon Suites for hospitals?" It's my when I got my foot done. He said, I can have it at the hospital, have your surgery at the hospital. They're going to charge you all these fees. Or I can do it at the clinic and it's just like an in person visit. I'd rather pay a copay than a deductible.
Ah,
But what if you had a salon suites for medical services, already got the equipment in there, you got the roster of anesthesia, on call anesthesiologists, on call nursing, they set it up, you just provide a facility and the equipment. All they got to do is come
yeah.
in there, do the services, and and they only charge you insurance. Excuse me.
Yeah. All good ideas too. But and another thing I'll say that we definitely do really well in the queer community. I feel like we do is having those conversations, right? All we're doing is just having a basic conversation about the soft life and smart money, right? So if you don't have friends that you can have those kinds of conversations with, you need new friends. Period.
And not
Point
your
blank.
friends. Because somebody should tell you that cut don't look right. You might want to stop posting
Yeah.
until you can line it up right.
Yeah.
And how we just dropped all of that free information. We don't have no type of ill feeling if you take it and make multi-millions off of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how a friend would do. Let me
Yeah.
give you this idea. I'm not interested in doing it, but I I would participate in it.
For sure. Yeah, no, I agree. And like you said, in terms of hustling, I do think, again, we're not saying that straight people do not hustle, right? We're not saying
Right.
that. We're just saying that I'll say this for me. It's been my experience that a lot of queer people that I know have
Mhm.
multiple sources of income because they have the spirit of entrepreneurship, right?
Right.
And in doing so, they have skills, talents that they're able to monetize off and have been for years. And a lot of times, I truly feel like it's because the odds have always, I don't want to say always, generally are against us, right?
Hmm.
Being in that we're different, we're not like everyone else, we perhaps look different, more than likely you're gonna speak differently, you have different mannerisms, some people more so than others, right? There's some
Hmm.
people who are more flamboyant, some people are more dominant, more masculine presenting. There's just so many various things about us that make us unique, that
Hmm.
also isolate us from other people, right?
You're
And
absolutely right.
because of that, I think that their mindset is different in that I still got to make this happen. I still want to be able to travel and live life the way I want to and have a family. Queer people cannot have a family the same way straight people do.
Right. And if
That
you
costs
do,
money. Yeah,
right, you
that
still
costs.
dicking and dyking.
But that is a good, that's a good point. I just think that we are, I won't say, I don't want to get people to fighting. We do a lot of things better. I'll
We
say that.
do, especially, but they need us without wanting to say they need us. Like the most obvious, hair, dressing them.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when Kim Burrell was doing all of that rent, she never took into account it was all them gay men that got you looking better because you was a hot mess. They come in with the style, they come in with all of this, and you don't want to give them the credit. So then you take that, and we're talking to those stylists. If you are truly a stylist,
Hmm.
not just somebody who's fashion, no, you know how to look at somebody's body and put them in a like. And I mean, I'm gonna take this train by myself. I don't think Law Roche is a good stylist.
Mm.
I really don't.
Hmm.
He has the personality. He just was in the. I feel that the right people trust him,
Hmm.
and he do pick out good outfits for them. But I don't think he's a stylist. Now,
Okay.
Wisdom K is a banger. That guy that's on, and I think both of us follow him. Um, God, I can't think of his name. He's very slender. He got wigs, and he styled the guy from Abbott. You know, I can't think of his name.
Uh-huh. It'll come to me here in a second.
He's a stylist
Mhm.
and he make clothes. So he's a
Is it
seamstress as
Thrash?
well.
Is it
Thrash,
Thrash? Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
him.
I agree.
He's a stylist.
Mhm.
Law Roche can just come in there and pull something off the shelf and put it together. That's my personal opinion. But then when
Mhm.
you got Swanky Jerry, Swanky to me outstyle himself with his client. He kills his client. He outstyle. But my whole point is we are better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we but you have to have a certain skill set.
Yeah.
I seen this little boy, I think he had to be like 11 or 12, and this guy said he gave him a space. He took a regular pair of jeans, made some holes in it, put a material, and then branded the material. Then he took a chain, spray painted it, drew it in. It was phenomenal. He had to be like 11.
Mhm.
Some people really have a talent for it, and it's typically in our community.
Mhm.
We got a talent for interior design. We have a talent for it. They wouldn't have queer eye for the straight guy we
I call
didn't.
it a superpower.
What else would it be?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're the bomb.
For sure. What
And
about
and
no, go ahead.
I was saying, and I was going to take it to real estate. Do you know it's an unsaid phenomenon? If there's gays in the neighborhood, it's up and coming, and people will be apt to invest and move into a neighborhood if they see more gay people.
Yeah.
That is a known fact.
I agree. Cuz they're going to take care of their property.
We're gonna
We take
have
care of
you see them flags out there. You know they're gonna have a nice little eatery downstairs. They're gonna have their coffee, a little dog park. It's gonna feel like family. It's gonna feel calm, and they ain't putting up with that bull. You can't come over
yeah.
there with all that.
Yeah. How do you feel about those who exploit the queer community, right? We know it's very prevalent in the church, right? They take advantage of us, and then they'll
Musically.
talk about, yeah, oh yeah, for sure, for sure. We can hold a lot of positions, but this is a couple that they ain't trying to let us do. But it also happens, I feel like, I'm sure in the entertainment industry, right?
Mhm.
In other places as well. How do we advocate for ourselves, uh, and avoid the exploitation of us without the full ability for them to like to really rock with us? You know what I'm saying? Like it's okay for you to do
Mhm.
that, but I don't want to make everybody else uncomfortable.
You have to be okay with walking away. If you can't meet me at the value I see, then because you're going to always be up under their thumb.
Mm-hmm.
That's how this, in especially in the black community, when it comes down to jobs, you're trying to prove yourself so much.
Mm-hmm.
They still giving you the bare minimum. But if you bet on yourself, it may take you a couple of months. But I promise you, if your skill is where it need to be and your gift is where it need to be, you're going to dominate. They're going to come
Yeah.
back. And I
Yeah.
think we have to be able to say, I'm not going to tolerate that.
Take a stance.
I
Yeah.
take a stance. I had a interview with a guy, and he was like, "I just want to be humble." And I said, "Why?" And he was like, "Because I don't." I said, "Do you know what the definition of humble is?" Like, y'all know, I'm already on that. Why would you purposely bring yourself to lowest state? Why? If I know I can do it, I can do it. And so if we know we can do this, it's like if I had hotel chain, I would 100% have gay people up at the front desk. They give the best service, hands down, especially a gay white man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That little slinky thing to be up there, he just know how to run the whole whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will 100% have him at the front desk. I will have them at some level of management because I know they're going to run it like it's their own,
Mm-hmm.
and I will compensate them the best way possible.
Yeah.
But and
I
I
agree.
think if we don't put our foot down, then they got the right to give us the bits and the little that we take because we
Mm-hmm.
accepted it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather lose than you tell me my value.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So somebody somewhere else is going to pay you the what you're worth, right? That's smart money, right? And you can go
Right.
where you're going to be compensated based on your skills and talents, or you can go somewhere you'll be compensated for that.
Yeah. That's the reason why they tell us every 2 to 3 years you need to be changing jobs. Because
Mm,
by the time you got that little 2% raise, you could have changed jobs and got a $20,000, $30,000 raise.
okay, I call it giving myself a raise.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We can apply that to our life.
for sure.
Get the skills while you're there. Get the skills, get the partnerships, make the people, the connections you need to, but be prepared to move on.
Yeah, yeah. That plays into the next part of our conversation, right? How the systems, in my opinion, just were not built for us, right? I can say speak for myself personally. I wore a United States Navy uniform for many years, and even when I got out of that uniform, the corporate world was not as welcoming, right, as we would hope, right? And this was 2007, I think it was. So the world isn't or wasn't where it is now. It's a little better, but it's just not. It just wasn't. And I'm sure a lot of people go through the same thing. But this
But it,
world
the
systems weren't built for us.
but the beauty of the military is that everybody had on the same outfit. When you come out into the civilian world, they can dictate how you're supposed to look in their space.
Hmm.
And that is what we run into. So, a lot of the LGBT community that wants to wear the pink hair, the green hair, you either going to have to conform to the way corporate sees you, or you need to be an entrepreneur, or you need to be in a nonprofit space.
Mm,
You
yeah,
can't be on the corporate side
yeah,
because they expect you to look a certain way. They expect you to show up. They're accepting our locks. as long as they're groomed properly.
Yeah.
They're accepting our short haircuts and we're presenting masculine now. But it was a point where I'm pretty sure your hair had to be in a ponytail or put a
Yeah.
wig over it until they was
Yep.
like, okay, this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And when there's a private company, we can't expect them to make a corporate change when it's only affecting two
Mm-hmm.
and not the 3,000.
Mm-hmm. That's
Military, it was affecting 3,000.
yeah. Yeah, that's where it's important to that you've got to be seen, or at least feel
Mhm.
seen in those spaces, right? Because there's people that's coming behind you that want to be in those places, right, or want to be in those opportunities, but because of their discomfort, right, where you
Mhm.
are the employer, uh, won't allow other people to come through that door, right? So
Right.
show up as your best or the best version of yourself, right? And remembering again, you're holding the door because there's other people right behind you.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
you have to be okay with that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm willing to take this hit because I know it will, when I leave, somebody can come in freely.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is very important to be able to see where where you want to
Mhm.
go, and have
Right.
representation. Right, you don't want to be the first trailblazer. Not to say that you can't, right? And there's many
Mhm.
trailblazers who've gone before us and taken on those battles and those gotten the bruises and the things of that nature.
Right.
But it's got to be we have to do something. In other words, we can't just not show up, right? And we can't just give up when it gets a little sticky or a little hard, right?
Mhm.
Soft life, smart money. What else would you say, especially in the career space, uh, that we could do better at?
I would go out on a limb and say monitoring your output.
Mm,
Reason is because you don't have anything to prove. Same thing as a black woman in that space. They're compensating her on her mediocrity. They're compensating him on
hmm
their mediocrity. So I'm gonna meet you there. That's our base minimum. I'm not going to put in any more energy than the next person because if the equal pay rate is correct, we're making the same thing. But believe it or not, their expectation is for us to come in and perform higher. And then when we don't, then it's a performance improvement. So we do face that battle. But you have to, and we had this conversation, I think it was last year, but the young lady, she was like, I'm not doing that. This is what you hired me to do.
hmm
The Gen X us wouldn't have said that. But we secretly applauded her like, girl,
Yeah.
yes. But it's a stronger generation to be like, if I only got 15 duties, I'm doing 15 duties.
Yeah.
But us, we were taught to go over and beyond. And then we're exhausted. We
Yeah.
can't give the next job a good part of us. And when you're exhausted, it doesn't help your work life balance because you go home, you're mad because you got to sit in the car and digress before you get in there and yell at the kids. You don't know how to have that balance. You don't know how to say no. It becomes too much, and then that's when burnout kicks in. So you have to find what looks like ease and what makes your money smart. Maybe moving makes your money smart. You don't need to
Mm,
stay in the city. Move outside of the city where the prices are a little bit lower.
yeah.
If you work remote, go somewhere where you're paying your cost of living is lower. That's smart money moves.
Yeah.
Maybe you trying to have this $2,500 a month rent when you really only need 13.
Yeah. 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 Right
You
sizing our
don't,
vehicles.
yeah, right side. You don't need a Hellcat.
Maybe I'll get by with one minivan, both of y'all.
Yeah, that's it. And you have to see what and that is so beautiful. Right sizing because
hmm
it's not always downsizing. It's right sizing. What it
hmm
looks like for me. Like right now, I would love to earn what I earn and be in Vietnam. I'm being real. That lady said you're wealthy if you could bring in 150 US dollars and whatever it is in their money. And I'm like, that's only $150. That's groceries. But to them, that's everything. Let me go on over there. You would be the kingpin.
Yeah,
It's just all
yeah.
how you look at it. It's like you can stay in America and be broke, struggle, barely can pay your bills, get behind, your credit dip, and then you're about to go play in traffic versus five bankruptcies go move to a different country and rest. Your credit is not going. I mean, your credit is not going to follow you over there. Some people need to rest, and that's just the truth of the matter.
Yeah,
Your wealth may not be in the United States. What
yeah.
if your
That's the
wealth is
discussion.
supposed? Yeah. So we seen a lot of queer couples move to Bali. They moved away and packed up like it wasn't nothing. On a regular, people was like, "That's crazy." No, they did what they felt was necessary to get ahead in life.
Yeah.
Talk about when we going. We can go tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
I
listen, go ahead.
mhm. No, I was saying
Oh,
it's just how you look at it. It's how you
yeah,
see money.
yeah,
Because if you base everything off of what we've been taught in the United States, unless you in a certain class, you're going to always be a bottom feeder,
yeah.
barely getting by, having some little luxury. But you can live a good life in Mexico.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, soft life is what you create, right, for yourself and
Mhm.
your family. Smart money. We are asking the audience, hey, what's up, Red? We would love to understand what your version or your definition of soft life means for you.
Mhm.
If you are a dominant or a stud and you are a stay-at-home wife, partner, and your spouse is the breadwinner, or even in the masculine roles, right? In the male on male roles, and you're, the the dominant one is at home, or the less masculine person is at home. I
Right,
really don't know what they call themselves.
right, right. You talking about the less
uh,
masculine one.
right, yeah. But my point is, we would love to understand better what your
What it
definition
looks like.
of soft life. Yeah. So leave it for us in the comments, right under this video, or DM us, and we can continue the conversation. Have the conversations in your own community, in your own network. But we've shared with you our ideas and our thoughts and things of that nature on the topic, and we hope that you have gained some value from the conversation. And we, look for you guys to add to that. Red, leave us a comment as to what you feel like soft life is.
Right.
You got anything else, Jay, before we wrap up?
Yeah. Just, you know, I think we both brought home what soft life could look like. And it separates from self care. It's separate. That's not soft life. Soft life is being to some, it could be able to always get the big seat on Spirit. That's soft life
Okay.
because they got the extra money.
Yeah.
Soft life can mean so much, and you're not wrong for how you define soft life. You know, that's just that. If you want to be a sugar baby, we can't say you're wrong for saying that that's a soft life. You know, so don't be afraid to say what it looks like to you because it's your perspective. Just like if we say wealth, wealth doesn't look the same for Keisha, to me, to Red, to Shay, to anybody. Wealth looks different. Some people may feel America is the only place where some people like, I'm about to be out of Costa Rica. Call me later. So you find and you map out your path the best way that fits for you, your family, and how you can live calmly and peacefully and with ease. because that's the whole goal. Because the way we are set up now, and the fact that they're trying to extend retirement age, is that they want you to now work until you're 67, retire, and you're expected to die between 70 and 75. That's not life. That should not be anything worth living. You just have to find what works for you. And that's
Absolutely.
just the truth of the matter. That is literally what Dr. Oz said. And I forgot what department he's over, but they're trying to raise retirement to 67 when the average lifespan is 70 to 75. I mean, you got a good, what, 3 to 5 years to live happy? That's not life.
Yeah.
And these
I
young people are teaching us that. That's the reason why they're not looking to doing work by their hands. They're looking social media. They're looking in other ways. They're trying to figure out how to make the best use of their time because you can never get time back. And that's just the truth of it.
Roger. Well, listen, it has been a wonderful conversation. I apologize. We got to cut tonight short. I have an engagement. But I've loved the conversation. And again, I hope you
Absolutely.
guys can continue it and let us know again what soft life means for you. We'd love to
I'm
see it in
looking
the
forward
comments.
to it.
Yeah. All right. See you guys later.